Hi guys, it's Chris here from Some Bloke Who Travels a Lot, and today we are on our way back with Stena ferries from Belfast to Liverpool after a fantastic 24 hours in Belfast. Now, originally I'd planned to arrive in Belfast on the overnight sailing from Liverpool, spend the day in Belfast and return to Liverpool on the overnight ferry on the same day. The overnight sailing video link is in the description below, as are links to the things that kept me in Belfast. The Titanic, an amazing experience museum. I took the open top tour bus at Belfast, and of course my accommodation for my unplanned night, the Ibis Hotel Belfast. But anyway, back to the boat. Sailing was at 10:30 AM with an expected arrival in Liverpool at 6:30 PM. Now, originally I paid £191 for the return sailing, outbound with the deluxe cabin and return with the Hygge Lounge with reclining seats. By switching to the day sailing, I was actually refunded for making the change, about £15. So, should we go and explore the ship and the lounge properly? There is an abundance of seating areas, and there's a few flat areas, few couches, benches, etc. if you want to rest your head. I did actually find another quiet spot if you wanted to get a bit of sleep without the expense of a cabin, and I'll show you that later. As with most ferries, there's a small amusement area for children and a casino gambling area for grown-ups, and of course on board we have our duty-free shop. Now, to quench your thirst, there's options of the Barista Cafe and of course the bar, both of which had plenty of seating and plenty of space on both of my crossings. And there is also the Taste Restaurant. And on this crossing I had the lunch buffet self-service main restaurant pretty much to myself, but we'll come to that in a moment. Now, what has he spotted? What has he spotted indeed? It looks like the Celebrity Silhouette cruise ship. And many years ago I used to work on celebrity cruises. I cruised on the MV Horizon as a sommelier, cruising from New York to Bermuda. But enough about that, we're on the North Sea with Stena, so let's carry on our trip around this boat. And in the immortal words of Rod Stewart, I am sailing. So it's up on deck to see us leaving Belfast. As you can see, it's not a day for sunbathing, but on those days that the Irish Sea is in sunshine, the open deck's a wonderful place to take in the sea air. Well, I think we've had enough fresh air, so it's time to go back inside, and we have a tale of two lounges, and the lounge that is a lounge but isn't a lounge. Now, Stena Line offered two premium lounges for both the day sailing and overnight crossings, the Stena Plus and the Hygge Lounge. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And they're two quite different offerings. So let's start with the Stena Plus, which I only booked on my previous overnight sailing, but I thought I would show it you here for comparison. This is the premium lounge and costs £22. and the free offerings were limited. I was not blown away. And if you're not driving and want to consume your body weight in alcohol on the crossing, again, you're going to be disappointed in the limited offerings. Now, I popped in and out during the sailing, and I do think the alcohol offering was only limited to certain times and was actually removed at last orders. I wanted something more substantial than snacks that night and didn't fancy the buffet restaurant. And you are catered for in the lounge, but it's an additional cost. Now, this burger, it was okay. There's certainly nothing wrong with it, but it was an extra £10.50. So you can probably tell I wasn't that impressed. But the main reason I would not book Stena Plus again was comfort. Although there was plenty of seating available, the comfort spots had already been taken by the experienced Stena Plus travellers. Therefore, if it's comfort is your requirement, then you should book the Hygge Lounge. In fact, the literal translation means a place of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being. All that in 5 letters. Remarkable. I paid £15 for my reservation in the Hygge Lounge, and it would be my first choice again on future day sailings. Incredibly comfortable seat. It was a very quiet space. All your power points, all your charging points, and there was a TV screen there. Yeah, but for comfort and to relax, the Hygge Lounge. And if you want food and snacks, just go to the Barista Cafe. I wouldn't, as I said, go for the Stena Lounge, Stena Plus Lounge. So, what is a lounge that isn't a lounge? Well, it's the cinema, or cinemas. Now, I'm not sure what these would be like on a school holiday crossing, but I found them to be very quiet. I think you need to plug in headphones if you wish to listen to the movie that's playing. But if the lounges are full, or you just don't fancy the expense, then check out the cinemas. You might just find a tranquil haven. I mentioned earlier a flatbed experience in a quiet spot, and on the stairwell on the way to the cabins overlooking the bar, I found these seats. So once the bar's closed and everybody has retired to their cabins, then this is a great quiet spot to stretch out in. But we are on a day sailing, of course, 10:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening. So at some point you're going to be in the mood for some lunch. My advice? Bring your own. Pick up a picnic from Marks and Spencer's, or bring your own from home. Stena, unlike Brittany Ferries or even P&O, it's not a dining experience. In the Taste restaurant, as you can see, I pretty much had the place to myself. And again, there was nothing wrong with the meal I had. It was just okay. So a pleasantish chicken and chips and a glass of red before it was time to go back on deck and see what I could see. Not much on the actual crossing. A wind farm, of course. You'll see those on every crossing. But unless you're called to your car on arrival, get up on deck for the arrival at Liverpool and enjoy the wonderful Liverpool waterfront. Now we've arrived in Liverpool, what next? Well, if you're in a car, you disembark as directed and follow the signs to your next destination. If, like me, you're a foot passenger, then it's all about buses. On boarding the ferry, you'll be given a ticket for your disembarkation bus. Don't lose it, especially if you have number 1 ticket. Top tip, if you don't have a number 1 ticket, then go to the reception on board and tell them you have a tight connection, and they will probably put you on the first bus. Because you don't want to miss the next bus. That's right, there are 2 buses. The first bus takes you off the ferry to the terminal. The second bus takes you to the closest Metrolink station, Merseylink station, which will get you into the centre of Liverpool. As after 6 o'clock, the ferry across the Mersey stops sailing. And not only will a taxi be expensive, it'll be nearly impossible to get. Well, I hope all this has been useful and or amusing. If so, please do hit the thumbs up button. Those likes are really appreciated. And if you want to see more of my ferry crossings, including the overnight sailing on this route, and some stunning sailings in the Greek islands, then you might like to consider subscribing. And it's not just ferries. I'm lucky enough to travel all over the world, so planes, hotels, and much, much more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and happy travels.